Hey everyone, Classic DM. I want to walk you through my Necromancer build that I use in Path of Exile. I've used it in every single version of Path of Exile. It's a lot of fun. It's not too difficult. It's really easy for someone who doesn't play a game very well. Not to say that I don't play games very well, but if you don't want to play a Twitch-oriented class where you have to worry about getting hit, notice how I'm not being hit, like, at all. All I have is, I have like 40 some odd zombies up right now, or skeletons. And there we go. So, it's a lot of fun, and if you're playing the game for the first time, you may want to try this because it grows really quickly. It's not very hard. It's not super gear dependent. The gear is to keep you alive and to do some more damage, but there's only a couple pieces you need to do more damage. It doesn't require a bunch of fancy uniques. It scales to the game. I'm going to run this build on Friday when the patch 3.26 League starts, and you'll see how it grows. Those are my Val skeletons despawning. It's a lot of fun. So let me go to my hideout and we'll show you everything you need to know, okay? And let's get out of this room. This room is crowded. Let's change the music to the other music. So a lot of people on YouTube, that the culture of the Path of Exile community is extremely hardcore. They are competitive. They like to prove that they're the best. There's a sense of making the video about the best build and the most synergies and all the technical information. It's like EVE Online type players, like everything you need to know. There's a really, really cool, fun, powerful YouTube community, and that is all that they do. They'll make videos this week called League Starter, yay! But you'll be listening to the video if you've never played Path of Exile before, and you're like, what the hell is a div? Like, what are they talking about? You won't get it. Now, there's nothing wrong with watching those videos because you might pick up a little bit here. They're saying, yeah, we're doing Champion Caustic Era. Like, okay, what's that? I've never played before. That's why I think the zombie build, minion build, is one of the easiest ones for you to get started playing the game, learning the maps, learning the boss fights, figuring out the gear, picking up currency in a very chill, kind of laid-back mode. Yes, from levels 1 to 20, you are going to kind of play like you did in Diablo from levels 1 to 30 in Diablo 2, 3, and 4, even Diablo 1. After that, you're going to get to a point where it's the next gem, it's the next zombie, it's the next skeleton. I need a Val skeleton, I need vulnerability, and you're just going to try to get that 6-link setup going and get the gems, the right pieces. And then later on, you're just going to refine and refine and refine and keep boosting and boosting and boosting minion damage. All right, before we do anything, I do want to show you the gear. It's not as gear dependent as these hardcore rank 16, 17 mapper guys are. I can farm like maps 1 through 14 comfortably, drinking beer and chilling out and not really giving a damn, and just get tons of currency to support my other characters and my other alts. So, when it comes time to getting, the basic currency, because we spend almost all our divine orbs in the last guild, yeah, I have plenty of currency. I can do tons of alts all day long. It's fun. I enjoy it. All right. Skills, gems, skill support gems, and gear pieces. And then the build itself, the actual path, the tree, and why play Necromancer. Okay. From the most basic form, you are summoning zombies that are always up. The most number of zombies I have right now is 10. You get to like 6 or 7, start off with 3, then you get 4, then you get 5. As you level up and get higher and higher level, you're going to get more zombies. As you rank up the skill, you're going to get more zombies. As you pick up a talent in the talent tree, you're going to get more zombies and specters and skeletons. When it comes to minions, the ones I'm using, I use zombies, I use summon skeleton, I use specters, which are also permanent. I use a carrion golem because he has amazing splash damage and boost everything. And that's it, dude. That's all I have. I have specters, zombies, and skeletons, and a carrion golem. That's it. And I just buff them with bone offering, and I have Val summon skeletons, which is the most entertaining, hilarious boss killing move in the game, in my opinion. It's just absolute mayhem and crazy. Another thing about this build that's really neat, you may notice that if you watch a lot of the path, why is M bound to microtransactions? I always hated that. This map and every other video game is the thing about this build is you're not running around with 85% run speed and running away from packs of mobs and only engaging at certain guys and trying to go as fast as possible like your ADHD Ritalin hasn't kicked in yet. You're just running around letting stuff get destroyed, picking up loot, and you're just chilling out. You're like, it's no big deal at all. It's like, why do I need to run around like a spastic? I'm going to kill everything in the whole freaking map. They're all going to die. And I'm going to collect all their gear and their stuff and their unemployment checks. So what are you doing here? You need a 6-link piece of gear, and then the helmet and the gloves and the boots, they can be 4 links. And in the main hand, offhand, I definitely want you to go with a shield. I love the shield. I think it's the best shield for a budget person to use because of the Aegis. There's things about the shield. I went off on a tangent in the last video. And you need a great wand, which you can craft, okay? So you only really need a 6-link. It can be heavy armor. I like heavy armor. This one here is like half heavy armor and half medium armor. It's like energy shield and armor. You know, there's all kinds of different types of armor in the game. There's some that's just energy shield. I like to have a fair amount of health and a fair amount of energy shield because I know I'm going to use Aegis. So this 2,500 health plus 1,100 is like 3,600, and then add 1,000 for attacks that hit me beforehand. Aegis is amazing. I absolutely love it. It's so fun. It's something that no one ever uses, but it's just so great when you're just playing chill mode. It's going to boost your armor and evasion. So if all your gear is armor and evasion, that's going to be helpful. Enemies are blinded. That means they're not going to hit you as well. Your zombies are going to hit them. You're going to hit level 20 physical Aegis when equipped. I mean, that's a great ability. What does it actually do for you? Right? It does this. Physical damage from hits goes to the Aegis before it goes to your life energy shield. So you can't see arrows flying into the game. There's mobs that jump on top of you and go blam with a sword. You're like, this is just gives you this tap on the shoulder halo shield that protects you. All right, so you need a 6-link. You're going to get that around the end of the end game. You're going to get first you're going to get like a 4-link, and then you're going to get a 3 and then a 4. You might even start with a 2, and when you get like level 40 and then 50, you're going to keep trying to get that 6-link. It doesn't matter what it is. You just need that 6-link piece of gear first. Once you get that, and as you get higher and higher level, you'll be able to get all the gems that you need. You're going to start off with like kinetic bolt. You'll see me using that to shoot things and raise zombie. And then later on, I'm able to raise a skeleton. And I'm not going to start off with this massive army of hobos helping me all the time, right? So you're going to want your raise zombie skill is your main, most powerful, 24 hours a day, 7 days a week, awesome ability. When you get later on and start raising the quality of gems, raise the quality of this one first. Maximum of 7 raised zombies. Notice I have 10. Now, why is that? Because of that. So I got a talent that increases the number of zombies I have. I also have a piece of gear that raises the number of zombies that I can get. And there's another one in the talent tree that does the same thing. So you want to get as many zombies, as many specters as you can possibly have. When you first start off, you'll get like, 4, 6, maybe 7, maybe 8 the most. You'll have 1 specter. You can only ever have 1 carrying golem. So I like raise zombie. I like melee splash support. Now, a lot of people don't do that. I like melee splash, and I like melee physical damage. My zombies do physical damage. Okay, I'm not using archers. I'm not using mages like Gazi does. Physical damage. They run fast, and they beat the shit out of things. I have minion damage support. I use Feeding Frenzy, which makes them aggressive. The Feeding Frenzy buff, hey, that's great too. That's fantastic, but I don't really benefit from that personally, but it helps them. Lastly, minion speeds, they run fast. I love it when I'm running around and the next room is already cleared. It's totally fun. I mean, like Gazi's last build, not to criticize this guy because he knows more about the game than I ever will. He has a build where like he has to keep resummoning shit every 4 seconds. So why the hell would you want to do that? So for a super casual, first-time player, think about these gems. So I'll put the gems link in the description. I'll put like chess piece, blah, blah, blah. I'll write it all down for you. Now, when it comes to what the piece of gear should be in an ideal world, I want the most amount of armor and the most amount of energy shield, or the most amount of armor and the most amount of evasion. Personally, because your energy shield is going to work better with intellect, you're going to want to keep that intelligence number as high as humanly possible. But mine's only 320. This isn't like some 600 intelligence. And I got 134 strength and 115 dexterity. It's not even that awesome. 108% increased armor and energy shield to this piece. That's why the piece has got higher numbers in blue. Mana, great. Fire resistant, sure. Why not? Why not? I crafted an enchantment for 262 armor. Yippee. Helmet. Intelligence, armor, energy shield, cold resist, chaos resist. That's great. Minions have 8% more life. This is not the coolest helmet in the world. The only reason why I'm wearing it is because it gives me maximum number of raised zombies and +1 to maximum number of skeletons. The more you have, the more DPS they're going to do. This could be tremendously improved, but it has armor and energy shield on it. It wasn't hard to get. I never really spent any time shopping for a better one. I'm a cheap ass when it comes to buying gear off the trade site. I like never spend more than 5 chaos orbs, like ever, on anything. Like, I don't see it necessary. I'm not going to make one character that's so godlike that I play for 4 months. I'm just going to roll on my zombie guy, get all my cool stuff going, get lots of currency, have fun, get in the groove of the game, and then I'm going to experiment with an alt. And I'm going to be able to finance them with all the stuff I made on my Necromancer. All right, so I use this necklace here. It allocated the mountain, which is something we could talk about in a later video. I put max life on it. It's got dex and +30 to all attributes. That's fantastic for wearing, stuff that's using dexterity gems and using strength armor, stuff like that. Minions deal 35% increased damage. What a bonus. So basically, it's kind of a scrubby necklace, but between the enchant I put on there and then the other stuff I have on there and the minion damage increase, it's pretty decent because that maximum number for minions dealing damage is 35. So that's the highest number that it could have possibly have been. And even the plus all attributes is only 2 away from plus all attributes. So that was fantastic. Great pickup. Bone rings. Bone rings. Why do I like bone rings? Because the implicit is always elemental resistances. When you're fighting bosses that are throwing shit on the ground everywhere, guess what? It's fire or chaos or whatever the hell it is. The last thing you want to do is be throwing down a desecrate, which is like a pile of corpses, so you can summon more zombies, which is a slow spell, while you're being hit and trying to avoid all the denial of area crap that happens in all the boss fights. This comes in handy so the zombies just plow through everything, right? The energy shield, the minions increase movement speed, and the minion increased damage is why this ring is great. And then I enchanted it with stuff to make up for the resistances. 75% is what you want to have when it comes to resistances as a base. You want to get higher than that if possible. The other ring, the same thing. Minions do 40% increased damage. Minions have bonus to elemental resist. It has an implicit for elemental resist. This means the zombies aren't going to get killed as much. The skeletons have a duration. The Carrion Golem, the Spectre, and the zombies are the ones you don't want to be resummoning. Especially the zombies. They take too long. Skeletons are like trash bones, man. You throw them out there, and they just start attacking crap, and then every now and then you pull out Vile Skeleton. You don't care about them. But it's nice if they stay alive for their full duration, right? Now, when it comes to belt, I ultimately end up switching to some Abyssal belt and putting Abyssal gems in it. And the reason for that was because the effect was increased by 96% when I put the gem in there. And this is another, minions do more damage if you used a minion skill recently. So that's going to be boosted by 96% by the other one. All right. The shield, I talked about it. The Aegis on it's wonderful. I absolutely love it. It has nothing to do with zombies. You could run like a little power shield or tower shield. I wouldn't recommend running like a wand. You should probably use a shield because there's talents I take that increase my block and blocking spells. I love blocking spells. I don't like being hit. I don't like to have to spam a health potion and run away. I want to just stay there and pick up the loot, dude, as it falls off the dead dudes. The wand. Okay. So this one had an implicit 30%, which is the highest you can get in the game. It's also got an enchant on it that minions do more damage. And, of course, it has minions deal 87, which is not the best. 87 increased damage. It could be 99 with this Queen's Tier 2 damage modifier. The suffix is they have more critical strike multiplier and more critical strike chance. Chance to ignite, whatever, it's just a junk stat. We don't care about that. The odds of getting everything perfect on a piece of gear like that is really, really low. But Convoking Wands, no one cares about them, and they're very easy to get and pick up and craft. And you may see that when I was playing the game before, oh my gosh, I think I had a tab that was all Necro Wands in here at one point. It was crazy. Like, every time I got a wand, I would just throw it in here. Convening Wands, Convoking Wands, thinking like, okay, well, when I was lower level, this was like a level 21, required level 50. It wasn't the highest number, but I threw it in my bank box and saved it anyway. So you can see I was saving lots of 4 links. This is a remove only tab. I was saving lots of 4 links. This is what I'm loving. I saved all the bone rings. I shaved all the shields. Saved all the 4 links I could get along the way until I could get better and better stuff. And I graduated out of the junk stuff to get more stuff. It is more important for you to get the links and the right gem colors, meaning that you're going to want these currencies, Jeweler's Orb, orb refusing, chromatic orbs. Even after playing multiple leagues, I'm down to 60 because I burned them on so many alts. And then these orbs of transmutation, chaos orbs, yeah, you're going to get them for currency, but the orb of alchemy is great to boost things up too. So we talked about some of the gear, and we talked about some of the gems. What about some of the support stuff? Okay, we talked about the zombies. On this one here, we have vulnerability. I like to cast a vulnerability in the ground. It's a massive area effect. Let me go somewhere else so you see what that looks like. We'll go to some crappy area, right? How about some Act 9 desert? You know, I love that song. It sounds like Gladiator. So I'm just going to put this here. The zombies are going to run over and try to, they're going to try to, this is how big that radius is. Look how huge this radius is. That is vulnerability. Look what it's doing, right? Cursed enemies take 30% increased physical damage. Attack hits against cursed enemies have 25% to inflict bleeding. And the bleeding thing is not so much. The reason why it's important to me is that, well, it also sends the zombies there, is when you're getting a very resilient Einar beast or something like that, and I really need to burn something down that's taking a long time, or it's a yellow with a lot of health that's immune to physical or whatever, I want to do as much damage as possible. And if the zombies aren't able to destroy it themselves really easily, I'll throw my vulnerability down and throw my Nazi zombie army down there, and that'll really help them too. So that's another ability we have here. So vulnerability. Bone Offering is also a buff that I can cast off of corpses. It looks like this. Bone Offering will temporarily boost the minion's chance to block spell damage and to block attacks. And it grants 4% of life regeneration per second if they blocked recently. And also I have a talent where these things affect me too. So therefore I'm going to get more block attack and more block spell damage. It's a nice buff to have when things are hairy. You don't have to run it all the time. Desecrate is just, it puts some corpses on the ground. Let me put these guys over here. The corpses will always match the zone that you're in. So if I'm having to summon more zombies or something like that, let's take this off. All the zombies are dead. We can throw a Desecrate on the ground. Let me send these guys over here. And we can just start summoning, try to get all 10 of our zombies up again. I think you can only get 5 or 6 per Desecrate pile. 7, 8, 9, 10. Summoning zombies takes a long time. When you're in a big fight and later on, you don't want to be running around summoning zombies. You won't be able to use Desecrate to a much higher level. So in the beginning part of the game, as you're running around, if a zombie dies, and they're going to die in like the second beach zone you're going to bump into, you're going to want to kind of find a corpse and summon a zombie off of that corpse. So you want to save the summons for when you got a chance to do so because you have to stand still to do it, right? And then the increased area effect modifies the area effect of the vulnerability spell, and it modifies the area effect of the Desecrate spell, if I'm not mistaken. All right, so that's that one. On the shield, we have faster attack support. The shield boosts 2 for every stocketed support gem, and this is where the Carrion Golem is. The Carrion Golem is this pretty nasty guy here. I've got him on the second tab, right? So he adds physical damage for non-golem minions. So what are the guys doing? Physical damage. He attacks with a bunch of slashes and he leaps into groups with bone spikes. So therefore minions have 45% increased attack speed, 52% to elemental resistances, 63% more splash area effect. The golems deal more damage per non-golem minion near them, up to 50%, and they grant physical damage, 20% increased buff effect. They have, 23,429 life. I wish I could have 10 of these guys. They're amazing. I really love them. So these 2 support gems, melee splash support, which is increasing that splash effect for the melee attacks, and these support gems are being boosted. That's really great. Now we also have summon specters. Now specters are something you also summon from corpses on the ground. Now the thing about the scepters, like in this zone, there's a bunch of dinosaurs and people. So when you summon a specter, you're going to get a dinosaur or people. Like this is a guy riding a dinosaur. Let's put another one over here. You can go target summon particular enemies based upon the zone. Let me show you a quick example of that. I believe it's like Part 1, Act 2, the prison, or some crap like that. Northern Forest, Act 3, or is it even Act 1? Graveyard, Prisoner's Gate, the prison. Let's go to the prison. It's either the prison in Act 1 or the prison in Act 2. Let's throw down a Desecrate on the ground. Okay, what do we have here? These are just a bunch of dead zombies. What do we have here? These are different. Okay, let's go to the Act 2 version. This is the Western Forest, Causeway, Lunaris Temple. I can't remember how I did it exactly which zone it was in. One of the zones had particular zombies that I really liked that had the cages on them. I thought it was in Act 1. I thought for sure it was Act 1. Let's see if there's a... Let's see if it's in another area down here real quick. The bottom line is that when you summon, when you desecrate, the corpses that are going to be on the ground are what you're going to get when you summon a specter. So in this case, we're summoning, like this guy here that casts spells. I might get one of them, might get another skeleton. You can watch a video on the web and teach you about that. But basically, the idea is that if you only every specter does different things based upon what zone they've been summoned from. Let's go to the ruined square real quick. These are a bunch of bipeds, right? Let them kill everything. All right, so you're gonna summon specters off this pile here. I got this guy here, this other guy here, another one of these carrying golem type guys. That's fine with me. So it depends what the corpses are. That will affect what the specter is that you summon. See, I got this guy, but he moves slow. I don't like that speed. I probably want to get a different one. Let's go to the Chamber of Innocence. This will be all people running around. So what you can do, you can cast Desecrate in the ground, and you can kind of tell, like, this is all going to be people. Okay, and now, if you look carefully, you see this guy over here dual wielding? This is a specter. I still have this other specter over here. They're wiggling around all the time. There's a guy with a crown on his head. So we have people type specter. So they're all going to run as fast as everyone else. So when I'm fighting enemies in this zone, they're going to be the same type of enemies that are in the zone. Now, that's a minor detail you may want to worry about at a later date. Let's talk about some of the details here. Okay, so Ray Spectre, we're just talking about them, right? Minion damage support, so they hit harder. Melee splash. If you'll notice, everyone has melee splash on this. I love it. They go into an area, they go bam, they hit everything on screen. At higher and higher levels, you want everything dead fast. You don't want them DPSing down one guy in one hit, and then one hit over here, and then one hit over here, and then one over here, and one hit over here, and one hit over here. You want them to go through the crowd as the crowd's coming up to you and go and just splat everything. Every single one of my minions is, you run on my screen, you get splatted. That's the whole idea. And they're all got Feeding Frenzy in here. Except for the carrying golem, he's already aggressive. The skeletons. Okay, this is interesting. The skeletons are not a permanent pet. You got to summon them. So the first time I click it, I'm summoning 3. Second time is 3 more. Third time 3 more. And because I have up to 10, now I have 10. They have a duration. And they're being buffed too, right? They're being buffed. Summon skeletons. They have minion damage support. They have Feeding Frenzy support. And they have melee splash support. Now, I'm using a Val gem. A Val gem is one that will come out of those little red dungeons you're going to find along the way, which are kind of hard. This is gems that are modified. A Val gem has 2 effects on it. It has 2 key bindings you can use. One of them is the regular one, right? The second one is something special. In this case, the second one summons this nasty army for 20 seconds. Now, I just wanted to show you this. These are the skeletons starting to despawn. There goes 1, there goes 3, there goes 3. And there go 3. What was the duration on these guys? 20 seconds. That's a pretty decent amount of time. The good thing is you can put them in different locations up ahead and they'll run off and go attack things. So you don't need to have them right with you. 39 scrolls of wisdom, good lord, okay. That's out of my backpack. The Val skeletons are, when you need everything dead, because you have to consume souls along the way, which is killing things. And when this thing lights up, it's ready to go. I save it until I really need it. All right, some of the other abilities. We talked about some of the debuffs, the bone offering, those were buffs. We talked about the carrying golem, talked about the specters, talked about the summoned skeletons, talked about this Nazi zombie army, we talked about the zombies. Now we have a non-linked convoking wand here. What's in here? Well, we have Flame Dash, which is a teleporting move that I like to use. I love Flame Dash because I can do it 3 times in a row, whereas it even leaves a burning trail behind me with whatever. Dash and Frost Blink, they have cooldowns. They go a little further, but they have cooldowns. And if you make a mistake, you're like, oh crap, I hit the wall. Oh crap, I'm behind the stairs. Oh crap, I need to get over here. It gives you 3 chances to get your ass out of there because you're going to use that to avoid special effects, mostly in nasty boss fights more than anything else. So Flame Dash is on here. It doesn't need a support gem. Clarity, this is an aura. Doesn't really need a support gem. Tempest Shield, this is a great buff. I love it. Enchants your shield with the power of storms, lashes out and deals arc-like damage to attackers when you block them. Almost all my talents are oriented around blocking spells or blocking damage to keep myself alive. So when that happens, they're getting damage. Now, I'm not really doing it for the damage because it's 25% to block spells, right? And I'm immune to shock. So I want to block spells. I want to block special abilities that are coming out and trying to hit me when I'm fighting a boss. I don't want that crap in my pack. You will. But, you know, that's one thing about that buff that's amazing. And so where are the buffs going to go? Now, there's 2 action bars. Always make the first one move only, and you combine the keys to whatever key is convenient for you, how you like to play games. There's a second tab behind this, and this is where I have infrequently used abilities bound to 1, 2, and 3, and then number pad 8. 1 for the Tempest Shield. See, it's spinning. It's reserving mana when I've cast the spell. In fact, let's just turn it off. Let's turn this off. Turn this off. So when I turn, and I'll take a mana potion too. There. So now we're at full mana, 1,000 mana. Now, as we start to use things like Tempest Shield, it's going to have a 25% reservation. So there's the first 25% of my mana reserved, and it's spinning in place, right? This isn't something you're going to turn on and off. You're going to turn it on and leave it on. Now, I want to have a lot of mana regeneration because I'm summoning stuff all the time, right? Especially skeletons. I want the skeleton summons to essentially be free. Clarity is going to give us increased mana regeneration for you and your allies if you're playing with somebody. Now, with just those 2 things, I've only got mana reserved down to here. So I can just start summoning skeletons all day long, right? And my mana is going right back. I'm not losing any mana. So I'll start putting vulnerability down, and I have to summon zombies real quick. Let's just start summoning. Summoning zombies cost a decent amount of mana, right? So you see I'm summoning zombies going down, but I pretty much got to 10, and I'm right back up again. So I'm never, ever out of mana, ever. Okay? That's really important. In the early parts of the game, you'll be like, auras are cool, but they're going to suck all your mana reservation down. You're going to have problems with it. All right, now let's talk about the talents. All right? There's a lot of builds out there from a lot of different people. Just for this one, I want to walk you through why I chose what I chose. So we're not even a necromancer. We're just a witch. The first note I want to get to is this one. Everything you do is going to be about zombies or protecting yourself. Everything you do is going to be about your minions or protecting yourself. You're not going to take a single talent to do more fire damage or frost damage. You're not going to do brands. You're not going to summon totems. You're not going to pick up more explosive runes. You don't need more crit. There's a lot of stuff in here you don't need. But there is a lot of stuff you can get relatively easily at different phases of leveling up your character to just stay in this quadrant of the passive tree, to not to spend a lot of additional points reaching something important. So in the beginning, and you're going to see this on Friday, we're taking spell damage and max mana, intelligence, intelligence, and intelligence. Then we're getting our first spell damage one, because in the first few levels, we're going to be casting like kinetic bolt, and our zombies are going to die all the time, and we're not going to have enough mana to resummon them. It's better than taking this spell damage one here, because the intelligence is so much more useful across the board for equipping gems and getting the gems ranked up than the spell damage ones are. So if you were to take these here, you're going to get lots of spell damage, but you're not going to get the intellect, so you're going to out-level your gem pretty quickly. Then we're going to jump up here to get 15% increased minion damage. We got some spell damage and cast speed and intelligence here. And so we can do a decent amount of damage with kinetic bolt or whatever else we try to use fireball. And now we have minions that have more life, and we get a +1 to raise zombies and raise skeletons. So even by level 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, level 7, and we're probably going to get a passive point from a book along the way, we're doing okay. We're pretty much in a situation, hey, I got 3 zombies up now. Then you want to start heading down this way, and you want to pick up minion damage and duration. These are like key passive areas here. They have a name to them. Minion offense mastery is the name. So you take the first one, more damage, more duration. They last longer. More damage, more duration. Skill effect duration. Deal 30% increased damage if you use a minion skill recently. This is because we're going to be summoning the skeletons all the time. It's even okay to resummon the skeletons to get the buff. So now our skeletons are going to last longer. I can't remember what level you're going to get to summon skeleton, Billy, but we'll figure that out on Friday when we play again. Intelligence. Now, I picked this up later. I went all minion stuff first, and then later on, hey, listen, I want more mana regeneration. I can't run the auras yet. I want to pick up max life. I wanted to have 15% increased max life if there's no life modifiers on my equipped body armor. So when I was getting my armor put together, I said, well, you know what? I'm going to make sure I don't get something that's got like +50 to life on it, right? So because of that, it gave me 15% increased maximum life. So Then we kind of wanted to go up here. Later on, I went up here because I wanted to have better chaos resist. Curses affect me less amount of time. This is protecting me, and I wanted to pick this up this. I love this talent. Corrupted blood cannot be inflicted on you. Corrupted blood is like a monster does something, it doesn't make any noise. There's these tiny little red globes of dirty blood spinning around you about the size of a fucking softball, and they will kill you quick. And it just goes tick, 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 and you're dead. Like there's no real resist to it. And I believe it even does more damage if you're running around. And guess what we're doing all the time? We're running around. So picking this up early might be great because there are some bosses in the game, like Malachi and crap like that, that will do a lot of damage that really hurts. So then we kind of went down here, and this is the next area we wanted to pick up. Minions have increased life, want them to live longer, more life. More life, regenerate life per second, regenerates 1% of life per second. Later on, you get passives that say effects on minions affect you. I want them to have a little bit better maximum resist. Then we went over here a little bit. Attack speed and cast speed. Now, none of them are casting, except we summon the Nazi zombie army. Sometimes we get a couple of casters in there. In fact, you can see right here, if we actually do it this way, let's pull up that Spectre, here we go, summon skeletons. So it's going to summon 9 skeletal archers and 5 skeletal mages and a skeleton general. So when I use the Val summon skeleton ability, this does benefit it to some degree. Let's go back to where we were. Where were we? Actually, we were up here. Yep. Why did it work down there? That's kind of weird, huh? Minions have 8% attack speed, accuracy. Attack speed also affects you. So I thought that was really, really nice. So anything related to the attack speed also means how quickly I can summon stuff. And then the key passive here is that 50% chance to ignore the enemy physical damage reduction. So if the enemy had some kind of physical damage reduction and my guys are doing physical damage, it's going to potentially ignore it. So then I kind of went down here, increase damage, minions do more damage, increase attack and cast speed. Down here, more minions, minions, minions. You're going to see me do this. I took photographs of these 3 parts of the tree so I can refer to it while I'm playing. These I came back later and picked up later. I wanted more health. I wanted more increased life. All these, I wanted more armor. I wanted to regenerate life per second. These I picked up later on. Increased elemental damage was just to get to plus 12 to all elemental resistances, right? So I picked up some defensives later on, but sometimes around level 30 or so, I went back down here to get more damage, more minion accuracy, more accuracy for the, excuse me, I almost sneezed to the microphone. Minion accuracy rating, and then I'm going to pick up this 20% increased effect of offerings. Do you remember me casting this little spell, Bone Offering? Right, read what it does, right? It has the power to block both attacks and spells. Grants minions 35% chance to block attacks and spells, and to block spell damage. Grant minions 4% life regeneration per second. Okay, now, so that's the 20% increase the effect of that. Also affect you. So later on, I went down here. I said, okay, I need more life. I'm not far away. I'm already close to this, so I picked up a bunch of armor and life ones. I had 30% reduced extra damage from critical strikes. If I take a critical strike hit, at least it's not going to hit as hard. I'm using a shield. I want to block spell damage. 2% chance to avoid elemental ailments while holding a shield. Elements are like dots, like burning and freezing, electricity. So down here is where later in my career I picked up a lot of defensive stuff. I want to increase my armor. I wanted my energy shield higher. But when you're first leveling up, as you'll see on Friday if you watch the stream, we started trying to get up to here as soon as possible. We wanted to get up here right away where we have more zombies and more stuff like that. So we branched over up to here pretty quickly to get to these. And I'll show you how. And later on, I unbranched and disconnected this node because from here, it only takes 1, 2, 3, 4 to get to this tree here, which is more damage, more life, more damage, right? Number of specters, raise zombies and skeletons. So we didn't take the one in the menu because we already taken a lot of them. And later on, I found a great jewel, which gave me more passives, which opened up these 2, which I didn't need because the passage had regeneration on it, which is really, really useful when I'm running around all the time. And then a chance to block damage while holding a shield. And the minions do more damage. And then minions are doing 13% increased damage. And then they're leeching life. So it was beneficial for me later to pick that up. You know, at one point I had blocking spell damage when I'm holding a shield down here, and I unspec'd out of it to pick up these crit strike chance nodes for my zombies, etc. And here's some other ones I picked up. Block and elemental resistances. Block spell damage while holding a shield. 20% chance to block spell damage per 5% chance to block. And then we picked up more life. So you can see all we're doing here is, like, this is a great note here. Damage, attack speed, cast speed for minions. Not just zombies. When I say zombies, I just mean all the minions, okay? Increased damage, 20%. This is great. This is a great node to go to. So when you're planning out your build, when you start to play the game, you're putting a point here, putting a point here. You're going to get to a point where you're like, okay, I'm about here. I don't really need to do this. Let me see if I can go 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8 levels, and 8 levels and have all this here. Maybe you don't need the maximum life thing. And then when you're going, maybe you don't have the cluster gem here and you end up taking this shield oriented one here. I find that taking all the minion damage stuff early is more rewarding than taking the defensive stuff. And then there'll be a point where you're like, okay, I really need to get all of this minion damage, all of this minion damage, all of this minion damage, this minion damage, this minion damage, this minion damage, and then everything else as I go along. Although I do think you need to get yourself immune to corrupted blood as soon as possible. That's basically what you do. You're basically trying to make sure that these minions are doing as much damage as humanly possible. The Feeding Frenzy gem, we need to talk about this and I'll wrap things up. The Feeding Frenzy support gem, okay, it only lasts about 6 seconds when it goes off. When zombies are attacking, they have a 44% chance to grant Feeding Frenzy to you when they hit something. Now, sometimes we have 40, 50 things on screen. So there's a pretty high chance that effect's going to go off. You don't really need the buff to affect you. The minions from supported skills are aggressive is why you need it. So let's just go to the web and let's look up Feeding Frenzy for you, okay? This is a video uploading in the background. We're going to go to this. Let's go to Feeding Frenzy. Let me explain this one to you. I only use it because I want them to be aggressive, right? There are other gems like Meat Shield that make the zombies like super resilient. I don't care. I have plenty of zombies. I'll make more of them if they die. I got them pretty resilient anyway. What is it I want them to do? Okay. They have addition effects like supported skills have increased minion movement speed. That's pretty great. That's wonderful. The thing about it that's really, really important is it makes them aggressive. So what does aggressive mean? Actually, it's down here. I was just at it. Aggressive and defensive. These are properties that can alter a minion's aggro radius. Aggressive sets minion aggro radius to 8 meters unless it's already higher. This is primarily useful in golems, raised zombie, and specters of monsters of low aggro range. All right, that means they will go out and randomly start attacking stuff. Aggressive also gives summon skeleton warriors a dash ability. This means that when I'm running and I'm wigging out and I'm having a great time, that's a video you're going to have to check out soon, that these zombies and these specters and my carrion golem and my skeletons are wigging out and getting way downfield and they start destroying the crap out of everything. For example, without casting vulnerability or anything like that, I'm just going to run around a little bit here. Even though this is a low-level map, they're going to kill the hell out of everything. Let's go to, let's go to, part 2. How about, let's just do the desert again. It's only level 61. And we're like level 90, so I'm not going to do anything. Just watch how quickly they're going to run around and run ahead. She's happy with that. All I'm doing is running around. I'm not instructing anyone. I'm not buffing anyone. I'm not debuffing anyone. I'm just going to run around. They'll come back to me when they're done. That's the guy I talked about earlier that I like. I like this guy. There he is. See this little chain, this little cage? He spins around and does an area effect attack. It's absolutely hilarious. In fact, let's see if we can get another one. I'm doing Desecrate over and over to see if I can get that guy to pop again. And you can bind the key to select which one of the things in the Desecrate pile you really want to target when you summon something. I can't get it to happen right now. So anyway, we're talking about the movement speed. So these guys are running like fiends. Let's put skeletons up here. They just took off. They just took off, dashing off to go kill something. Is that entertaining or what, dude? So Sparkle Bits Zombie, that's what you call it. There's a yellow. Oh, he's dead already. Okay, no problem. I don't know. It's just, dude, everything is just dying. Now, we know this is a low-level map. There's a yellow guy there. It didn't take much. The game has so many nasty effects. Notice how everything in the game is just running at me. Like, as soon as I come on screen, if I didn't have any enemies at all, in fact, let's do that as an experiment. Let's do that. I'm going to open up my gear. I'm going to take that on and off. No zombies. Take it on and off. Take that on and off. All I have is a carrion golem. Let's take him off too. Okay, all we have is a turtle pet, which doesn't do anything. I have no pets at all. I can do no damage. I can attack nothing. And I'm just going to summon skeletons, right? These guys hit me. It's going to hit my Aegis shield, which is knocking this down. I only have one aura going. Let me put the other Tempest shield on. Oh, they kill themselves with a Tempest shield. So let's go down this way. Let's find something to kill. Did we already clear that whole area? Yes. I'm going to summon a couple skeletons here. They'll run up ahead. Here's an area we haven't opened up yet. One skeleton. Three skeletons. I don't have any zombies up or anything. These are just the skeletons. If you watch carefully, you'll notice they'll like dash across the map and start attacking stuff. There's a yellow. Yep. So, although you are to some degree... Oh, there's a yellow guy. I love him. He's awesome. Let's get him up. Let's get him killed first. Is he dead? Okay, great. So you can summon... You can hover over these guys. The Bleak Shed Corpse, I want to summon him. There we go. That's a trick you can do. You can do Desecrate on the ground. All right? You can bind a key to target this, and it will tell you... That's a slave's corpse. Slave's corpse. Desecrated slaves. Wild Rex. Okay, let's summon him. That's a dude on a horse? No, it's a crazy Tyrannosaurus Rex. So it's a really fun build. You should definitely try it. It's hilarious as hell. Even if you just ran summon skeletons, you're going to have a great time. The thing I like about the zombies more than anything else is the zombies when they hit things. It has to be the most hilarious shit in the whole entire world when they're crushing the hell out of things. Let's get all 10 of the zombies back up. And we'll get our carrion golem up. And we got 3 specters up. We'll put all the skeletons up. Now, I'm just in a low-level zone. I'm not trying to show off or anything. I just want you to see the action of the zombies. See, I got the cage guy. He, like, spins around and area affects everything like a whirlwind, like a blender. He's totally hilarious. And with Flame Dash and movement abilities, you can move around where you want. You can get somewhere else and debuff things. You can you can buff your guys by hovering over a corpse. Now they can all block spells. And what are you doing? You're just focusing on picking up stuff. And a lot of people laugh at this build. They think it's ridiculous. There are more hardcore, powerful, insano ways to play, zombies and crap like that. But I just wanted you to see the most simplistic, basic way of doing it. I'm going to play this build on Friday. I'm not a big streamer, so I don't talk all the time. I might answer people's questions if you type in a question. But that's what I wanted to share with you. It's a fun build. It's totally hilarious. It's a great build to play when you're first starting and you don't understand freaking anything. When it's just absolutely baffling of what the hell is going on. How come I can't find the feeding frenzy gem? When do I get summon specters? You haven't taken time to look at the wiki. You want to get an idea of what to go for next. Even in the early parts of the game, summon skeleton and summon zombies will take you pretty much all the way through the campaign. You might want to pick up Desecrate. You don't even need to rank it up. You just leave it at level 1 because you're not using it for the chaos damage. Even Vulnerability, you don't really need it when you're leveling up. You just want to get the number of socketed gear, be able to kill all the bosses without having to worry about anything like that that's trouble or problematic. In fact, let's go do this. Is there a boss we can go kill that's a stupid boss from the... Nah, that's too long. It takes too long to get to that one. I'm not going to waste my time. It would take too long to do it. But I wanted you to be able to see like how the bosses just get utterly obliterated by the zombies. But you'll see that on Friday. Anyway, thanks for tuning in. I know these long and scatterbrained kind of goofy videos. But if you're having fun listening to the background, leave a comment. Let me know what you think. I just want to evangelize the fun things you can do in the game without being utterly confused by the experts. And just let you know a couple of secrets and tricks along the way that will help you. And over time, we'll do more and more advanced videos about how to play particular builds, especially if it includes zombies. We'll talk to you again real soon. Have a cool weekend. Don't forget, we're going to try to stream some of this stuff on Friday afternoon, East Coast time. Should start about 4. We'll talk to you later. See ya.